What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another exciting episode on the You Don't Own the Lake podcast. We've got a very special guest for you guys today. My good buddy Noah Humfeld from Madison, Wisconsin, that runs Madison Angling Guide Service, a conversation I've very much been looking forward to, especially for this video podcast, but unfortunately did have some issues with the audio on my side of it. Did not have my external microphone dialed into our Zoom call, so unfortunately just have Zoom laptop audio, but the conversation was too good that I'm just going to put it out anyway. But going forward, we'll not have those issues. So hope you guys enjoy the conversation either way, and looking forward to hearing what you guys think about it. So enjoy the conversation, and we'll see you at the end of the video. All right. Well, we are starting this thing off here. I've got my good buddy Noah Humfeld up in Madtown, USA, Wisconsin. How are we doing tonight, buddy?
Oh, we're wonderful, man. Got a little bourbon, got a cat sitting here watching me creepily. It's all good, man.
I like it. Yeah, we were just talking before, and obviously I've been watching the last couple days. I mean, you just bought a nice Ranger glass boat last year, but then you just picked up a little project, tinny aluminum.
Yeah, for what? Yeah, a couple buddies found it. Yeah, they picked it up down in Iowa for super cheap and needed a transom, and they're like, "Do you think you can do it?" And I'm like, yeah, we can do it. So that's kind of been our little side project here. Not like I'm not already super crazy busy, but fuck it.
Yeah.
Extra fun.
Gotta have a project. What I would say. Just keep laying it on. Oh, I'm booked till August. Yeah, let's keep going. Yeah,
exactly.
Nice. So what are you going to use that boat for then?
Probably
river runs?
I honestly don't know. We're kind of on the fence about keeping it for a while or just dumping it right away and buying another one and getting another project, trying to work up. So it's a 1998 175. I think it's a Tournament Pro. It's got the 2XB hull, 115 Merc, fresh transom in it. Got it in last night. And they want to work their way up to a Ranger, and their goal is to flip boats up to a Ranger.
Nice.
And I think we can do it. It's not going to be a super nice one or a new one by any means, but yeah, I think we can do it. So I don't know what the plan is. We're either going to hang on to it and that'll be the beater boat, or try and flip it and get another one. So yeah, we'll see.
That's great, man. Those are good boats. I mean, I had 3 Alumacrafts before, or 4, no, 3 or 4. And that was a good year for those boats, so that'll be fun. I miss flipping boats with my dad. I used to do it too with my dad when we were younger and had a lot more time and energy.
Oh yeah, dude. No, that's how I started with all of my boats, all through like high school and college and stuff. Like I was broke. I couldn't go out and buy a nice boat, so I had to buy shitty boats and make them not shitty and figure out how to fix motors and all that stuff. And that's kind of part of, I don't know, at least part of my fuck, dude. Like yesterday, my motor took a shit up on the Wisconsin River. So, like wrenching on shit.
In the Ranger?
Yeah.
I thought you did a bunch of stuff to it.
I did do a bunch of stuff. No, so I think I figured out what it was. My oil alarm was going off, and I'm like, what the hell? And I had crankcase pressure. The system was pressurized. And anyway, long story short, it's a 2010, so it's 13 years old, and it's a 2-stroke, and it's it's the remote tank in the hull where you dump the oil in, and it's only ever had oil dumped into this thing for 13 years. So the pickup for the oil is probably clogged with some crap, and I just need to pull it out, clean it, jam it back in, and run it till it blows. So.
Well, yeah. Someday you'll be a man and you'll just have a 4-stroke. But anyway,
next year.
Yeah, next year. Well, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, because I knew when I talked to like-minded individuals like Noah, and especially fishing guides, we get ahead of ourselves. So we'll let Noah introduce himself. He is also a full-time fishing guide up in Madison. So I will let Noah just kind of introduce himself, and we can kind of let the topics flow from there. So get after it, buddy.
Right on. So yeah. I'm Noah. How's it going? I'm 31 years old. My eyes are blue. I weigh about 220 pounds. This is a be like John Gillespie. This is a half-hour show. Come on. Oh, good Lord. Yeah, we could talk about that later. That might be something.
Too, yeah.
I got a video I got to send you later. But anyway, yeah, I am a full-time guide. I've been doing it since 2015. Kind of specialize in the Madison chain of lakes. I grew up right here. Do a little bit of bouncing around though, a couple other southern Wisconsin lakes and the Wisconsin River, and Multi-species, kind of like Brian. I like fishing for everything. I don't care what it is. Muskies and walleyes are kind of my two big things, but I mean, bluegills, catfish. We even go fly fishing for buffalo on the Wisconsin River. It's weird. It's a thing.
Salmon.
Yep, Great Lake stuff.
Salmon guy.
Yep, salmon. I don't guide that. That's just something I do for me because there's certain bites I want to keep for me to keep fishing fun. Because
must be nice. Must be nice.
Well, you can move.
Yeah.
No, I think you got things pretty locked down there. You better stay on that. But no, it's pretty cool. Wisconsin. And I'm not actually from Wisconsin. Little known fact. I was actually born in California. We moved here when I was about 8 years old. So
at least you're not from Illinois, though.
Yeah, that's true. I got that going for me. It's not much better, but somehow it's still better, I guess. Mm-hmm. So I apologize to any of my customers from Illinois about that joke. I love you all, but seriously, Illinois sucks. But yeah, no, like growing up around Madison was super cool. Like my parents actually still live about 3 blocks from Lake Monona. So we used to just ride our bikes and go fishing pretty much every day, no video games or whatever, just go fishing and screw around and do kid stuff. And yeah, it was pretty cool growing up around here. And then ran off to college for 5.5 years, wasted a bunch of time and money. And here we are fishing.
And we're self-employed. Yep.
Right. Exactly. And just wishing maybe I had a little more of a head start if I had skipped all of that. But
yeah,
no, things are good. So yeah, that's kind of my backstory, if you will, I guess.
Nice. So what made you want to get into being a fishing guide? Because I always tell my clients this too, that like, I always say like, oh, well, if I never met my now wife, there's a very strong chance I would have picked up and already be back in Wisconsin, somewhere between Milwaukee and Green Bay. But everyone's like, well, yeah, you could just go guide there. And I'm like, yeah, guide in a state where there's 648 other fishing guides. Talk about a saturated market. Like, how does somebody new in the state of Wisconsin start guiding and then like keep a consistent client base with, especially on the Madison chain or the Wisconsin Dells or, wherever?
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good question. And I kind of like where this is going because there isn't a lot of transparency in this. There isn't a lot of people that talk about their journey into how they became a guide or how they transitioned to doing it full time, which, we both know is kind of terrifying, taking, a stable income and saying, nah, I'm going to go do this.
And benefits too.
Oh, right. Yeah. You
like,
have
good benefits. We could still get benefits now, but like really nice corporate ones.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, you have to make your paycheck happen. That is up to you. People aren't just going to come hit you up and be like, yo, dude, take me fishing. It's not like that. You need to make that happen. So, for me, it kind of started out with a lot of tournament fishing. I used to do a lot of like the college bass stuff and then transitioned to walleye tournaments. Because fish with teeth are way cooler than bass.
It's true. Except smallmouth. Brown ones are.
Except for smallies. I'll give you that.
Upper echelon.
Oh yeah, no, smallies for sure. But that kind of transitioned into giving presentations and stuff in different fishing clubs. I had a sponsor deal with Cabela's for several years. So I had to go in and do talks and hang out in the fishing department and things like that. And there were so many times when I was giving a talk about something where I was thinking, or I would even say out loud, it would be so much easier for me to show you what I'm talking about in the boat than it is for me to go through a PowerPoint and try to explain this to you. And what ended up ultimately happening, I met a guy, my buddy Dustin. No, it didn't go that way, but my buddy Dustin, we got kind of fucked up one night on Lake Monona ice fishing, and we were like, dude, there should be a website or something and a YouTube channel that's like all encompassing all things Madison fishing. And he was originally from Ohio and, came here for his first big kid job. He works at UW Hospital and bought a house on the lake, bought a bass boat, didn't know hardly anything about fishing in Wisconsin and had to get kind of a crash course on how everything happened. And he's like, dude, if we could shorten the learning curve for people, how cool would that be? And I'm like, yeah, dude, why not? Let's do it. So that's how Madison Angling started. It was originally supposed to be just a website and articles and a YouTube channel. It was never supposed to be a guide service.
Yeah.
it was just supposed to be purely, information. And honestly, the timing would have been great if we had stuck with the YouTube stuff, because that's when that stuff
I
was
know.
just,
Yeah, big time. I think about
and
that all the time too, as it pertains to like my channel. Like I go back and I look at all the cringy, like when I just put a GoPro like on the windshield and I just went fishing. Like that is what a lot of people refer to as what started fishing and GoPros and videos being so popular is just fish porn. It's like
yeah,
cast to catch fish. You don't talk about anything. You don't talk about your rod. There's no like
no,
production aspect to it. You just like set a camera up, go fishing, get the clips, and then that's it. The video's out and it's weird. But back then,
right.
that's when like I was like, I'm not gonna do stuff like that because it's cringy and it's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh hey, what's up, guys? Welcome, smash that subscribe button. Welcome back to another video. And now look at us.
Right. No, I know, right?
We're
It's
playing catch up. I mean, your
yeah,
channel is still progressing and mine
yep.
is too, and we just like make videos when we have time.
Yeah, and that's all it is, I just do it for fun. It's just
Yeah. Oh
something.
yeah.
If it helps people catch more fish, awesome.
Yeah.
But that's really where Madison Angling started. That's what it was supposed to be. And kind of organically, people just started reaching out like, hey man, how much would it be to, take me out walleye fishing on Lake Mendota for a day? And it's like, well, I have a guide license. I, got a boat. We can do that. And for me, it was kind of weird because there were still a couple of kind of bigger players in Madison at the time. So I didn't want to be like stepping on people's toes because like, who the hell am I? Right. I'm like,
Can we talk about some of those big players? Because I like hearing about all kinds of
so the
Wisconsin
one the
guys.
one guy that I was most intimidated by was actually Lee.
Of course, naturally, yeah.
Yeah. So for those of you listening, I don't know if any of you watch any musky stuff, but today's angler, Lee Tauken, he used to guide pretty much all over Wisconsin, but Madison's his home water as well.
And Minnesota even.
Yep, he used to guide Minnesota mid 2000s when the musky stuff was really rolling, and Mille Lacs and Bemidji, and when things were wild and they were catching 2 or 3 40-pound class fish a week, and they weren't even fish under 51 inches because they're like, it's not a big one. We don't need a picture of that one. So yeah, that was my competition. How do I compete with somebody like him? Like he's been guiding longer than I've been alive, right? So it's like, what the hell? And then there's Jeff Hansen, who just does muskies, has been guiding muskies for probably the better part of 25 years in Madison. Ron Barefield's another one. He's kind of more of a multi-species guy, and there's a handful of others that kind of come and go. So as a 20-something-year-old kid, it's like, who the hell am I, to try to compete with these guys? And it ended up sort of working out in some roundabout ways because Lee was actually looking for people to work with him to try to get a TV show started, which was Today's Angler.
Mhm.
And TV wise, it just didn't pan out. So it ended up turning into a YouTube thing. And that's how I ended up meeting Robbie, and we all kind of started being a thing. And then Lee Lures also, that's kind of my my side job is I paint and build Lee Lures. So for those of you who don't know, Lee also has a musky lure business, and they're all handmade, super high-end baits. And basically I would get done with my regular job, which happened to be in Cottage Grove, for any of you in Wisconsin, so just east of Madison.
I was gonna say it's just right outside of Madison, yeah.
Yeah, I'm 15 minutes from all the lakes from my driveway. It's fucking awesome. So Lee also lives in Cottage Grove. So I'd get done with my regular job, go over to Lee's, just dick around in the shop. And eventually he let me start helping him build baits. And it took like 6 months, but he finally let me start painting baits. And the rest is history. 8 years later, I'm still doing it. So that's kind of what I do when I'm not fishing or flipping boats. So that's really kind of where it started. And then as the lure business continued to grow and Today's Angler continued to grow, Lee kind of backed off of guiding, and he actually hasn't guided for a few years now.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, which kind of opened up sort of a pretty big void. And a lot of these other guys, retired or got old or moved away, like Robbie and Michael, they used to fish Madison and they moved up north, so it kind of left this big giant hole, and it was like, okay, well, I guess there is room for me. And that's that's how it happened.
Yeah. And that, I mean, that's kind of, I always tell people that too. Like when I started guiding in 2015, like when I first started like thinking about it, like in the northeast part of Kansas, there was like nobody. And if there was, they were like 104 years old and decrepit and like weren't really guiding anymore. But there was, you know, like one or two main guys 3 or 4 hours west of me, which like it's not even the same. It's not even the same realm of
No.
like lakes and stuff. Like those guys aren't traveling to fish the lakes that I'm close by and vice versa. So when I first started, I was like, there's like nobody around here doing this. And if they are, they're just crappies or catfish. Like Kansas loves its catfish and its crappies so much. It's like weird, especially channel cats. Like they'll tag channel cats and do these studies on them. And I'm like,
really?
Where my money's going. The cat.
They're catfish. Catfish. Dude, really?
But no, same thing where it was like there was this huge void and it just kind of like your story too, like it just worked. It just like fell into place and started doing it part-time to like build up the business while I was still working full-time. And then when I started working for Ben Milliken with Milliken Fishing, I left my IT job at the University of Kansas, worked for him for 9 months. Then we parted ways. And after that, I was like, well, I'm definitely not going back to work in IT. So let's just start doing this full time. And then within like 6 months, I was like, holy shit, this is actually working. So
it was,
and that was September of 2019 that I started booking full time. And it's that first year. Well, that was 2019 into 2020. And then COVID hit. And like my wife is self-employed too. She's a hairstylist. And, you know, she was like, what the fuck are we going to do? And I said the same thing. I'm like, dude, what if it hits fishing? And then fast forward, 2020, I ran 336 trips. Go figure.
I know. And that's what happened to me too. So, you know, being in Dane County, which is definitely the most liberal county in probably other than whatever county Chicago's in the Midwest, we got shut down. So I wasn't able to guide.
Yeah, that's right.
They shut all non-essential shit down, and guess what? Fishing guides are non-essential. So I was shut down for like almost 3 months. So all I did was just go to a different county. I went up to Wisconsin.
Oh, nice.
Jefferson County. Yeah, don't just leave Dane County.
I didn't even think about that.
Which worked out totally fine. You know, it wasn't a big deal, but I had the same worry too, where it was like, dude, am I going to be like totally rat fucked? Like, what's going to happen? Like,
and I have all these trips booked like in advance. Like, what am I going to do about them?
Right. Like what's going to happen? But no, at 2019 and 2020, 2021, I mean, they were bangers, dude. I mean, it was ridiculous. It was really awesome. And, you know, took advantage of, well, a lot of things. You know, I had a lot of buddies that, you know, got to work remote, or, you know, they had a lot more free time. Well, a lot of people did. And that's where a lot of the video stuff kind of picked back up, because it was like, dude, like, you know, we're just, when we have a free morning or whatever, a free evening, you know, maybe I had a guide trip in the morning and I wasn't doing anything in the afternoon. Let's just jump in the boat, throw some cameras up, see what happens. And 2019 was like one of the best muskie years in Madison that I can ever remember, and we got a lot of it on video, which was pretty cool. So
was that the same year that like Lee, Robbie, and Heidi were on Mendota or Monona and had like that one day where they had like saw 30 or 40 fish and
they caught 12. Yeah, they were on Monona. I was actually out that same day. I don't remember what year that was. That might have been,
what video I'm talking about though? Like that
so.
one where it was all three of them. And I remember they started out at that one spot that looks almost like there's a barge parked on the
ship.
Yeah. That's all those colors.
That's the Olin boat launch. They never left the boat launch. They were there all day.
Right. Yeah. The whole like bay right there, that shit. Yeah.
They didn't even leave.
They were throwing, that's what they were doing. They were throwing top water. It was like a tail bite.
Yep. And they got like I think Heidi got a 49.5, like hunchback that would have been a 50 if it wasn't all jacked up. And
Yeah. So that was that same year that I'm thinking of then.
I think it was. I think it was.
It
But
had
yeah,
to have been because that day
dumb.
was insane.
It was dumb. It was dumb.
It's a
Yeah.
fun.
So
I like rewatching that one. It's fun watching.
I had a customer out from Georgia that day. They were on a big road trip and the engine blew in their car and they got stuck in Madison and they're like, "Oh, let's go fishing." And we ended up catching 3. And we were on Monona, and so we're the Today's Angler people, and I saw them over there, and they never moved. Like I never saw the boat move, so I figured they were just shooting like an in-boat video, talking about something.
Oh
like,
yeah.
like this. I didn't know they were fishing, and I didn't find out till like 4 days later. Lee's like, "Yeah, dude, we caught 12 fish at Olin the other day," and I'm like, "No, you didn't." And he's like, "Why would I make that up? It's all on video." And I'm like, "You didn't catch 12." He's like, "We did, and we got a 49.5." And I'm like, "The fuck you did." They totally
He's
did.
such a gangster. So. What a guy. I remember seeing him at the Milwaukee Sports Show. Like I met Pete Mena and Lee and John Gillespie and Joe Bucher like all on the same day. And that was just like insane. But that like, could you imagine like if there was like one fishing metal band, like hair metal band, Lee and Pete Mena
for sure,
like ultimate.
And they got the hair. Well, Mena still has the hair. Lee doesn't have the long hair anymore. No.
But the early 2000s and like 90s pictures of Lee are so epic. What a guy.
Oh, dude, for sure.
An amazing human. He's such a cool, nice, genuine person.
And branching off that, he's definitely been my mentor and guiding and basically being self-employed in a lot of ways. And he is legitimately one of the most like humble, down to earth, like normal people that I've met in the fishing industry. Like something
it resonates through the videos too. Like ever since. I mean, well, I remember Lee was doing. It wasn't supposed to be Today's Angler. It was supposed to be. Remember, he did a show with Hadia.
Big Fish 365.
Yeah, that's what it was. And like Lee was like fishing with him, like out of the Milwaukee Harbor and stuff.
Oh yeah. They did all kinds of cool stuff. Yeah, I guess there's lots of stories about what happened with that, but
that's neither here nor there. All that was to say to my point, because I digress and I'm very good at digressing, is ever since, I mean, he's just like genuinely excited, genuinely nice and humble, and has never, like, even when he has to stand up for himself on Facebook, like as it pertains to, well, I'm sure all the shit you see too with like his bait prices and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Or this and that, or I mean, I don't know. Nobody can really talk shit to him from Minnesota as it pertains to Leech Lake because, I mean, there were a lot of people doing it.
Yeah, no, and I think there's a lot of people that got a lot of hate for that. Lee wasn't the only musky gypsy who ran over to Minnesota to take advantage of that stuff.
No, well, and vice versa.
Oh yeah, look at all the people
from Minnesota going to Vilas County.
Or going to Green Bay. That's
even worse yet. Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of the new thing here, is Green Bay. And but going back to that, it's just, what the people that the company you carry, the people that you surround yourself with, I think can definitely influence the course of your career in a lot of ways. And I'm just glad that, Lee took the time and invested the time in me, which is super cool. And like we're actually basically neighbors. We live like a quarter mile away from each other now.
Cool.
And he was in my wedding. So yeah, it's pretty cool having people like that, that you can, I mean, I hang out with them every day in the winter. When I'm, I didn't run any ice trips this winter and basically just went to the shop every day and hung out with a, musky
legend that is just right there.
It's pretty cool.
Cool. Well, as much as I don't want to like migrate off of the topic, I want to talk about kind of something that I talked about on the first like pilot episode of this podcast when I was just by myself, no video, no nothing. Of now we're in the month of March and the ice is going out quick, and I'm sure it's what is the ice like in southern Wisconsin right now?
Crap.
Yeah, it's like not even, that's like you were saying, you didn't do any ice guiding.
No, and it was a great winter to not do that because the conditions were so weird. We had a really mild winter, and dude, it's over. Ice fishing's over.
Yeah.
I've been on the Wisconsin River for the last 3 weeks. and I'm not even thinking about ice, but I know the shorelines are pretty much toast. I think there was only one person who maybe might be thinking of something else. I think one person died on Winnebago during the battle on Bago this year, which they should have canceled. That was
Yeah,
kind of bullshit.
I read a lot about that, it being potentially canceled, but no,
Yeah.
they didn't.
No, there's just too much money wrapped up in it, so they didn't pull the
big time. There is.
Yeah, there was a gentleman who died on Wabisa this year. His four-wheeler went through the ice. It wasn't a good year for ice fishing, and
No.
it just so at this point, dude, if you're out on the ice, that's on you, and that's just kind of a selfish, shitty thing to be doing. So unless you got an airboat,
Lonnie Goldman, he's probably still on the ice.
I was supposed to. So every winter, I go up and ice fish. I go with a bunch of old retired dudes who used to work at Cabela's, and it's a long story, but I met them years and years ago, and they all left because Cabela's sucks. And yes, they do. So they invite me to go on these, trips with them, right? Like we'll trade, like, hey, I'll take you up to go, we'll go to the Mississippi and do an airboat perch trip if you take me walleye fishing or something. So we just trade stuff, and it's just a fun way to hang out and connect with people. And so we go up and do the whitefish thing out of Sturgeon Bay every winter. And I think it was like 4 days before we were supposed to go, we saw the video. I think Larry Smith posted it of all of his shack breaking through. And I was like, oh shit. So I messaged all those guys. I'm like, hey guys, there's some big wind coming, and like up there, you don't fuck around with wind. It doesn't matter if it's fishing or open
ice
water.
fishing or open water. It's the Great Lakes. you have to
respect. Yeah, you don't fuck around with wind. It doesn't matter how big a boat you have or how much ice there is. You don't fuck around with wind. No. And I was like, I don't think we should go, guys. Let's pull the plug. And we ended up pulling the plug, and so did pretty much everybody else for the rest of the season, it sounds like. So
yeah, that was brutal.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. And there's been a couple of, and it's not just him. There's other people too, but there's definitely a pattern. There's definitely a pattern of making some really shitty choices over the last few years.
Well, and for me, it's good for me to see stuff like that, because I know that guy is not a piece of shit that would put anybody's lives at risk. He's just a dude that loves to fish, and he's got a business to run, and he runs high volume customers, client base, whatever. I deal with the same stuff in the winter where I'm breaking 2 inches of ice in my boat. Takes an hour to get from the landing to the spot, going 1.5 miles an hour, trying not to split my hull. Where I'm not putting anyone's life in danger, but it just seems kind of silly. But it's because I love to do it and I want to do it. And the other professional business side is like, I still have a business to run, and I'm booked out for days, and these people want a crappie bite in the winter. We're rescheduling for next year if we don't go. So I understand kind of, I mean, yes, there's a pattern because it's not the first time it's happened, and people make a mockery of it because things unfortunately do happen and nobody gets hurt, but it's like, it's his Ranger that's like halfway into the ice. You know what I'm talking about? The 4x4 type, whatever. And there's certain risks. Well, and no ice is 100% safe. You could be on 2 feet of ice, and if you hit a weird spot, you could be on 2 inches of ice. So there's so many variables, and it's really easy to poke at people and kind of give people shit, but there's some stuff that's just out of your control. But there's other things where it's like, dude, is it worth it? So that's a big part of it. I'm finding that out more in my old age now that I've just turned 35 last year.
Dude,
I'm just not that mad at the fish.
Dude, you're like,
I still love it, but
you're like 82 in guide years.
That's what I always tell everyone. They're like, how old are you? I'm like 35, but fishing guides age like dogs. So
yeah, dude,
the number is.
Yeah, dude. No, my skin sucks. I actually ate shit 2 days in a row. So I didn't have to fish today, but I fished Saturday and Sunday. And just a little PSA, people, when it's March and it's cold as fuck, what temperature does water freeze at, Brian?
Oh, it's like 40.
Yeah. So for the rest of you, it's 0 degrees Celsius or 32 degrees Fahrenheit. When it's 20 degrees out, the water in the river is 35 degrees. It takes about 10 minutes for that shit to freeze on the ramp. So drain your goddamn trailers. It takes 30 fucking seconds.
Where do I feel like maybe you've seen this on social media from another?
Weird, right? I know. It's this weird pattern.
Oh my God.
So No, dude, I ate shit so hard on Saturday. I've got a huge bruise on my elbow. It hurts really bad. And then Sunday, or no, I got that backwards. Saturday, Tom Boley was actually up at the Dells. I was fishing up at the Dells, and we launched at the same time. And he watched me take a fucking face plant right next to the fucking truck. Like I
That's
walked
okay.
up and I was like, "What's up, Tom?" And boom, fucking just totally ate shit.
That's funny.
Yeah, and then I did it again yesterday, so that was cool. Fucking dickheads. So
Yeah,
stranger trailers, please.
that's funny. I didn't expect Bully to be fishing the Dells. Just thought he was like Mississippi, Fox River, Green
I
Bay.
don't know if he, dude, I don't even know if he gave me, Jesus. Sorry, Lee just messaged me. I'm confused. Words are hard. I don't even know if he got a video. It was a tough bite. This weekend
No,
was
I'm sure it would have probably already been out by now because he's already been up to the Fox once and got 3 videos out of that, and then
yeah.
2 videos on the Mississippi. I'm sure he probably went from the Dells and went straight to La Crosse or whatever, wherever he goes.
Shot right over, went up to Castle Rock or something. Yeah. So
Yeah.
no, it was kind of cool to see him kind of where I'm fishing, you know. But
I've seen him. I mean, I've seen him a bunch on the Fox like last year and stuff, but he's probably like me where it's like maybe if we're at the boat ramp, I'm probably not going to go up and be like, "Hey man, I love your videos," because people do that to me all the time too.
And it's weird as fuck.
Sometimes it is, but while at the same time, I am very appreciative and extremely humbled. I just don't know how to act.
Oh, dude, I'm the same way. I get super fucking like introverted. Like it's straight up like the eyeliner comes out and I'm just like
which like for me, it's not who I am. Like I'm a very like personable and like not a weird dude or whatever. But when someone's like, "Oh man, I love your videos and I appreciate everything you do," and I'm like, "Wow, thank you. I just like fishing."
It's hard to take a compliment. No, dude, I'm the same way. It's just like, and if anybody's listening to this that's done that, or we've had that interaction, or we might have it someday, if I act like a total fucking idiot, it's because I don't know how to process somebody being that kind to me. All right.
Yeah, dude. Well, especially for all the stuff that we kind of sometimes as fishing guides have to deal with on the internet as it pertains to people that don't.
No, usually it's fighting with keyboard warriors and all kinds of just absolute dickheads who have nothing better to do. And but
I would, all that was to say, I would like to have Tom on the podcast if I could get in touch with him and just be like, "Hey man, we fished maybe 50 to 100 yards from each other many times in the past, but I just never said anything." So we be on the podcast, but I mean, yes, he literally like last year when he went up to Green Bay, fished for 2 days in Ryan's boat, the guy that works at Swamp Donkey.
Yep.
One of the guys, shorter kid. And he fished out of his like 14-foot Lund with him just to like roll incognito. Because he was on U-Bay and nobody else had even touched U-Bay and the ice just went out. And like I knew where he was. But it was just funny that he was like, "Yeah, we're on like a little solo incognito mission." And
I knew right where he was because I went up.
Like, I would totally do the same thing.
What's funny is so the day he posted that video, I was actually talking with a buddy of mine and I'm like, "Do you think there's walleyes that spawn on the east shore of U Bay?" And I shouldn't have just said that out
loud. I won't put this out till next year.
Okay. But it's definitely a time and place thing. So if you think you're just 100% find them, good luck. But watch the water temp and the wind. I'll tell you that. But so the day after he put that video up, I knew where he was. Like, I'm like, for sure that's what he's doing. We went up the next night and just fucking railed on him. And we saw one boat out there and it was.
Were you trolling too or no?
Yeah, pulling big stick baits after dark, perfect 10s, running them like 40 feet back or whatever behind the boards. And like, I'm not going to say how deep. So
well, I mean,
find them. Use your electronics and find them. But
so do you put in at Metro then, and then just go out and to the right, pretty much, right?
Yeah, I usually launch
landing over
even
there.
Even if I go like up towards De Pere, I'd still launch at Metro just because I hate dealing with people at like the Fox launch and shit. So I'll take that nice long boat ride. I don't care. But honestly, the last couple of years that I've been going up there, I'm trying to get further and further away from the river, like because not all those spawn in the river. They spawn in the bay too. So it's I'm having more fun finding them in places that other people aren't looking for them. And you guys can have your mercury filled nuclear fish in the river. I'm gonna go find some cool fish somewhere else. So
Yeah, but I mean, well, there is something to be said for those guys actually catching big fish at Voyager Park,
yep,
in the mouth.
that aren't snagged.
That's what, yeah, exactly. Because I mean that I'll be up and that's like where I was trying to segue into this conversation, but just as I anticipated, we try to get into one subject and then that branches off into another one.
Oh
But
yeah,
that's the best part about podcasts because
right.
that's what we're here to do.
I know.
But yeah,
I'm not even
I'll be in Ocano 1 month from today or yesterday or the day before, April 3rd through the 7th. And
okay.
I mean, I feel like things are gonna set up right. I don't know. I feel like there should still be ice in Ocano, and the fish haven't really started moving like up yet. And I'm hoping that maybe this year it's timed like it was when I caught that girl right there
Yep.
2 years ago,
Yeah.
where like my first full day there, it was just like, I mean, I caught so many walleyes over 24 inches.
Stupid.
It was insane. But then
Stupid.
last year, the ice didn't go out. We went the last week of March last year, same week
Yep.
that I caught that one, and it was warmer. Last year, we had to fish the Fox for 3 days and had a day and a half on the big water when the ice blew out. But then the water was like 31, 32 degrees.
Too cold.
Our last half day that we had to fish before we had to leave because my buddy's wife sucks so bad. All we caught were giant jumbo perch. I have never caught more jumbo perch on a rip and wrap. Like the side imaging looked like
Yeah.
Cisco's or whitefish.
Yeah. Was that,
you know what I mean?
was that in Ocano or
Yeah.
the
Oh
Fox?
yeah.
Oh, dude, I caught one probably like 6 years ago up there on a ringworm in like 3 feet of water. And I don't know why I didn't measure it. It was just fucking, it had to be almost 15. It was the fucking biggest thing I don't even know. I don't know why I didn't measure it.
It's funny you say that because remember
stupid.
Kyle Tokarski caught one. Tokarski caught one like 2 or 3 years ago that definitely was the state record, and he just let it go.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know what he was thinking. Holy shit! But yeah, dude,
You should have just ate it. It would have been a better story if you said you ate the state record.
oh shit, dude! Right? Got to get those fillets.
Yeah,
get them. Yeah.
But anyway, all that was to say, I feel like this year it'll be right, and we'll be able to fish. I mean, I want to fish all the way. I mean, man, I wish we could fish Cedar River. You know what I mean? Think about all the big fish in there that you can't touch because it's protected up until a certain point, and by then, like, it's too late. But
that's no, dude. And I think honestly, with as mild of a winter as we've had, and as long as we get some rain, I know we're getting some snow this weekend, which fucking sucks, but I think it's going to be perfect timing. That last week of March, first week of April should be like fucking.
I thought so too, but then like I was talking to Miguel a couple days ago because obviously he goes up there with us that same week. He's like, well, hopefully by then the walleyes haven't fucking spawned. It's like, it's not, there's no way. I mean, yeah, I know they'll spawn into the ice when it's right, but no.
Yeah, no, I think you're going to time it perfect. And I don't know if I'm going to get up there or not. It's a good problem to have. I guess I'm super booked up, but yeah, also got a kid coming in the middle of April. So
so now we're gonna dial all the way back to where this first initial fishing conversation started. When I dialed back the first time was, I want to know what your plans are here for the next couple weeks in March as we transition to that, April timeframe when things really start to bust wide open.
Yeah. So right now, I pretty much just spend my first 2 months of open water on the Wisconsin River, usually up by the Dells and kind of the Lake Wisconsin area. So March and usually the first 2 weeks of April, I'm up in the river. Typically by the second week of April, we hit that like 42 to 44, 45 degree mark. And that's when the fish are dumping eggs. And as soon as they are done spawning, they are gone. They are down the river. So for those of you maybe not familiar with the geography of that area, the Wisconsin River is gigantic. It runs a good portion of Wisconsin, probably why it's called the Wisconsin River. And weird. Yeah, I know.
I don't get it. Actually, I don't get it.
No, I don't either. But, so basically, a a lot of tourists go up to the Dells. There's like water parks and theme parks and all that stupid shit.
Yeah. So interjection real quick for the Kansas and Missouri people that are listening. Wisconsin Dells is basically the equivalent of Branson, Missouri, like Silver Dollar City type situation.
Yeah, for sure.
Except Wisconsin Dells is only slightly less redneck, and I mean only slightly. So
there's probably the same amount of meth.
Yeah, big time. And the Wisconsin Dells has the fibs and a lot of Cubs.
There's so many Illinois people, dude. Yeah, for sure. But hey, if they're spending money, if they pay taxes up here, I don't care.
Yeah, big time. It's just like again, a whole nother
another time. Yes, exactly. So yeah, right now, like this weekend, water temps were like 34, 35. So still stupid cold. Yeah, it's probably going to be a couple weeks before we get some more rain and temps come up and we start pulling some more fish up river. So basically I just chase them, pre-spawn, during the spawn, and then post-spawn they push back down into Lake Wisconsin, which is basically just a reservoir, if you will, artificial lake. It is by definition, it is. Yep. I spent $40,000. How much money was that? Yeah, like $40,000 in 5.5 years of my life to know that. But whatever. So I guess it's a reservoir. So yeah, the post spawn bite's usually pretty cool. I'm probably gonna miss that this year, which kind of sucks. But there's more important things in the world, like family and kids and stuff. So that's gonna be
really it is cool. Weird how there are other facets to life besides fishing full time.
Yeah, I know. Fishing's cool, and I think that's something that's a lot of people need to remember. Like, okay, I'm assuming most of the people listening to this probably have jobs. I don't know. I hope so. If you don't, get a fucking job.
They can pay for the Spotify subscription or Apple Music, so surely.
Okay, so cool. Then you guys are cool. You can hang. So for us, it's to some degrees it's work. It's a job because that's what we do for a living, and that kind of changes your perspective on some of this stuff. And but that being said, there's good days and there's bad days, but when you do something that you really genuinely love to do, like if I weren't guiding today, what would I be doing? I'd probably be fishing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's kind of weird, like trying to prioritize some of that stuff, but obviously as we're getting older and aging exponentially compared to a lot of other people the same age as us, your perspective changes on stuff a little bit. So, being able to kind of step back and go, it's some of my favorite fishing of the year is in April, but there's more important stuff in the world. So that's going to be a little bit of a change, but after that, hopefully, everything goes smooth with, bringing our kid into the world here. And, then I get to do my favorite shit, and that's, night fishing on the Madison chain for walleyes in May.
Yeah.
That is super fun. Big fish and lots.
Don't you do that on Geneva too, though, when it's good?
You can. I've actually never done
everything I saw you doing trolling wise at night. I thought you were just running like the fall trolling bite on Lake Geneva.
Same thing, but dude, it's the same shit. It just happens.
It is, yeah. Both. I mean, Geneva's way more clear, but still super clear, spooky fish on a crazy pressured metro body of water.
Yeah, no, it's the same shit. And it's funny because our season on the Madison chain and a lot of these inland lakes in southern Wisconsin start and end the same way, open water seasons. So the first couple of weeks in May, the fish are super shallow. As the weeds are just starting to come up, all that, emergent vegetation, all the bugs are there, bait fish are there, predators are there. And then, throughout the year, things push back out deeper. And then at the end of the year, getting into late fall, they push back in shallow. So it's this whole thing just kind of it's one big circle.
Yep. It is big time.
Yeah, no, it's kind of cool. And you figure out these cycles and it just makes things so much more predictable. And so if you're ever wondering why, guides for the most part as a blanket statement are pretty much always on fish, it's because we have to go fishing every day. We don't get to pick and choose our days. So on a shitty day, we need to figure out what works and what doesn't. So over the years, we have this bank of experience to draw off of. But the biggest thing is, we're good at picking up on patterns. I think that's honestly probably the biggest thing is picking up on patterns. And some people are just innately, I think, I don't want to say better because I don't want to make myself or us or guides in general.
No, I know what you're trying to say, but I think it's more like methodical.
Method. Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I
It's
mean? That like, because people ask me all
detail
the time,
oriented.
clients ask me all the time, like, do you keep a journal? And I remember I used to, and it lasted like 3 weeks. And then I was like,
Yep.
I'm over it. But it's
Yeah.
all, in here. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be written down. It just depends on the person.
No.
I respect the methodical thing, and I wish that I did that. And I want to. I want to have a fancy little leather bound journal that I can get in my, furry robe with a cigar and a bottle of good bourbon and just,
Yeah.
with a calligraphy pen, just, the water temperature today was 58 degrees, a mild 58. So if anybody here is listening that follows Ned Katie, aka the inventor of the Ned rig, the Midwest finesse, which Noah,
Yep.
if you like
Dude,
if you
I'm
like
just
that
kidding.
kind of stuff, he lives about maybe 8 minutes from me.
Oh,
And
no shit.
yeah.
Dude,
But he
I want
sends
to,
out he sends out like a chain letter or newsletter of his Ned Rig Chronicles, and they're
really?
9 paragraphs long, and they use words that I've never even heard of before. He has the best like vocabulary for like how he graces his Ned Rig along the water willows.
Oh, so it's porn.
Literally, but I unsubscribed and sent it to spam a long time ago because I just can't stand
Got
that.
it. Dude,
But
I want to punch that guy so hard in the dick, but at the same
he might
time,
be he might end up listening to this, Noah.
well, no, but at the same time, I want to
He's a
shake his
lovely
hand
old
because, dude,
gentleman.
how did you come up with like 2/3 of a Senko on a jig head and you just fucking reel it in and it catches fish? Dude, it has saved my ass so many times on days when like a drop shot with a fucking minnow doesn't even work, and
Yeah, that's
you
wild
throw a fucking
to
Ned
think
rig and you
about.
catch fish. I don't get it. So like the dick punch for basically this is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen, but I want to shake your hand because you saved my ass so
It is,
many
it's great.
times.
Well, and here's the other
Wild.
part of it. Here's the other part of it too, that a lot of older generation Missourians will tell you that they've been fishing that rig for 60 or 70 years. And back then they called it a jig worm,
Oh
where,
boy.
they're like their shaky head or drop shot worm, big worm, whatever, would start to wear down and they would just break a piece off, you know, half inch or whatever, and then put it on there and just fish it till it got smaller. And they'll say, well, this isn't the Midwest finesse or the Ned rig. This is just a jig worm. We were using it in 1908 when we
Oh
caught
boy.
that stringer of largemouth that we ate with Geraldine.
Dude, those fuckers still have perch in their freezer from 1998.
And hey, if I had perch in my freezer, period, right now, I'd be really happy.
Dude, I've got a couple walleyes and some salmon from last summer, and that's pretty much it. I'm tapped. I don't eat a lot of fish. Just kind of
Yeah,
weird.
I always say that. I mean, we don't either, maybe like twice a month
Sure.
because my wife loves fish tacos and like
Dude, fish
have
tacos.
so many
Sure.
crappies in the winter.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, no. But anyway, so let's kind of just like segue into kind of ending this thing. So March into April is
Yeah.
going to be good. You're going to be on the river.
Yep.
Going to get some rain. That's going to increase the flow, bring a lot more fish into the system, but it's going to get muddy and hopefully it doesn't get cold again. Um, so yeah, things, I mean, it kind of
Yeah.
sounds like my March into April too. It's just like for me, I've got to scratch my way through March as far as the changing patterns, and
Yep.
the water's getting warmer and now it's super dirty and there's a lot of water coming in and they're letting water out of the dam. So
Just a
that's
lot of change. Spring
yeah,
is it's just
yeah,
constant change.
springtime on any body of water can be weird, but on
Yep.
mid-southern reservoirs like what we have here can be really weird. So if anybody
Especially,
sees me drinking a lot more bourbon, maybe in my Instagram stories in the course of March, that's probably why. But I promise it's not that bad. But yeah, there's a lot of scratching and clawing for
oh
some
yeah.
sort of fight. So that's what we've got going on. But we're probably knocking on the door of like an hour and 20 minutes here. So Noah, we'll take this time for you to just plug all your socials. Anybody listening from the North Country that for some weird reason hasn't seen Noah's videos on the Madison Angling channel, or anybody that we talked about for that matter. Today's Angler, huge muskie fishing. We're going to talk a lot more muskies here in the coming weeks too. But yeah, just feel free to plug what you got. and anybody you would like to give a shout out to as far as friends in the industry that support you, aka pro staff, aka promotional staff.
Oh boy. Hashtag pro team staff pro.
Yes. Minimum of 14 hashtags.
Does it, it doesn't only count if I have stickers on my truck and my boat.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have any on my truck, but yeah. So if you guys want to follow me, Noah Humfeld on Instagram, I'm the only one on the planet, so that makes it pretty easy. Otherwise, Madison Angling is my YouTube channel. You can find me on Facebook, Madison Angling Guide Service. I don't post on Facebook very much, so Instagram and YouTube.
Post more on Facebook.
Dude, I know. I suck. I need you to like do it for me.
If it works, it works, buddy.
Can I like pay you to do it for me? I'll just send you a bunch of pictures and you fucking run my page for me.
I just need one Lee Lures bait that I can just like put somewhere back here that I'll never fish probably.
Okay. Dude, are there any muskies down there?
Yeah, there's like maybe 3 or 4 weird lakes in Missouri that have muskies. Pomme de Terre is the biggest lake, and I've fished there for skis several times. Have seen a lot of fish and raised a lot of fish. Never caught one. My buddy caught 2. But the only people that catch giant muskies on Pomme de Terre are fucking bass fishermen.
Oh, of course.
On a jerkbait or a spinnerbait.
Throwing little shit.
Literally.
Yep. Oh, for sure.
And then
for
they put them in a fly fishing landing net that's 12 inches wide, and then let it flop all over their carpet for no less than 3 to 6 business days. Then they take a picture of it vertically, a
drop
4-footer just totally vertical. And then
you got to drop it 3 or 4 times. Drop it 3 or 4 times. They love that.
Yep. They may even shoot. They may even shoot it. I don't know. Spear it because they like gigging. No. Missouri got, there's a lot of guys that like to gig. Yeah. They stab shad. They stab frogs. Anyway, and then just needless to say, there's probably a high delayed mortality rate of esox in Pomme de Terre.
It sounds like it. Yeah. It sounds kind of eerily familiar to some other waters I know of, but anyway, sidetrack.
We're digressing. We got on muskies and we can't talk.
We're digressing so much. But anyway, guys, Noah Humfeld on Instagram, Madison Angling on YouTube. What else do I have going on?
Maybe we should talk about give a shout out to
Jordan. I think we need to give Jordan a shout out. Fox River Rods. Actually, I got to give you a shout out. So thanks for getting me hooked up with Fox River.
I was just gonna let you say
dude, that. Been super. Yeah, dude. No, they're fucking sweet rods, guys. So if you're looking for something that's budget minded, but still a high performance, awesome rod, check them out.
Wait for the new ones though. Wait for the new ones. 1 month.
The FXR, dude. It's
Oh man.
You're gonna need a couple of those, but. No, for the people that don't want to spend a crazy amount of money on a rod but want something nice, they're awesome. And I beat the ever loving shit out of them for the last year, but almost exactly a year now. I've never had a problem. I haven't broken
They're great
one.
rods. They're great rods, Noah, but we don't need to turn this into an advertisement podcast. We know how much the fishing industry probably hates that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I know, but anyway, guys, no, they're sweet. So got to give Jordan a shout out. So check out Fox River. I guess, I don't know, she's not going to hear this or see it, but my wife for putting up with all my bullshit, my crazy lifestyle, because it's a lot, you take a lot of personal time out of, other people's lives to do what we do. So having a support network of, family that are super supportive, friends that are supportive, and significant others that are supportive is huge. So thanks, Rachel. If you can hear me, she's probably in bed.
And thanks, Danny. And Danny is also in bed because it's now 9:30. But we made pretty good time. We were definitely.
Not bad. I still got a drink to finish here, and it'll be a pleasant evening here. But it's been really fun, dude. Thanks for having me on. I really, really appreciate the opportunity, and I'm totally down to do this again sometime. We can dive into some more juicy stuff later on. Maybe some boat etiquette and ramp etiquette, and just
really good. Well, and that I think maybe that's like one thing that I did have like on my little mental list of things to bring up that we unfortunately didn't get to in time because nobody wants to listen to a 2-hour podcast, is just good guide stories. Cause I know we both got them. You know what I mean? Just like,
Yeah, dude, I had a kid
get every
shit.
fishing guide's good stories out so we can talk about them all later. And that's what I'm looking forward to in this whole journey. So I
Yeah,
knew
no,
that
I
you
had a
have some,
kid.
but we can't start it.
No, well, I just a little teaser for anyone listening that's made it this far. I had a kid absolutely shit his pants in my boat. And when I say kid, he was like 19. And it's a fun story.
Would it be a funnier story if the guide did it?
If a guide did it,
Yeah, because maybe somebody else has a story about that too. I won't spoil anything, but
I've got I've got a couple other stories maybe along those lines. It's like a daily battle, dude. You just never know.
Nope, it's true. But like you said, we'll probably do this again, obviously,
Oh, yeah.
at some point down the line as we kind of recycle through some fun people to talk to, and we'll make you on that list.
Oh, hey, I appreciate that, man.
But we'll talk soon either way. But I know you won't be able to make
dude.
it up for Green Bay. But if you get a wild hair, feel free to come up to O'Connell.
I'm gonna try. We'll see what happens, but I'll try. I promise.
All right, bud. Well, we will talk to you soon. And for everybody listening, we really appreciate you staying tuned in. And we will see you guys on the next one. Don't forget, you don't own the lake.